Hey everyone, welcome back to the Haunted Corner. I'm Ashton, and I'm glad you're here. I hope you're having a great week so far. Thank you so much to everyone who has reached out to check on us. So many of you have asked how my son is doing after his surgery, so I wanted to give you an update. The surgery went really well. It was a little more extensive than we had planned for originally, and the recovery was pretty rough for my sweet boy, but the surgery was successful. He's got some pretty serious hardware in there. He has a plate and a few screws, so he's basically Iron Man, but he's doing really, really good. I'm super thankful for all the doctors who took such great care of him, and he should be ready to swim by mid-June, so we should be able to salvage this summer. We're finally back to somewhat normal and ready for summer break starting this weekend. But today, we're taking a journey to some of the most haunted hotels in the world. And some of these you may not have heard of before. So let's get into it. First, we're heading down under to Sydney's most haunted hotel. Nestled in one of the oldest parts of the city, known as the Rocks, the Russell Hotel has offered many people a fright throughout its time. Although the hotel is currently closed for renovations, the tales of hauntings live on. The history of the location dates back to 1788, when a movable hospital opened on the land. Between 1788 and 1816, the first central hospital in Australia treated and housed sick inmates and also served as a central hospital when the bubonic plague swept through Sydney. Following its time as a hospital, the land was used to harbor a store, a house, and a rumored brothel at one point before being turned into a hotel in 1887. Beginning in 1981, restorations were completed on the hotel, and even early on, whispers of paranormal activity were present. Visitors and employees of the Russell Hotel alike have shared similar stories of interactions with the beyond. Some stories have been more subtle: footsteps trailing down an empty hallway, voices attached to no one and speaking to no one, doors closing on their own, and even unexplained screaming heard throughout the halls. But some of the paranormal tales have been more specific, and certain rooms contain more activity than others. One of those rooms is room number 8. According to reports, room 8 is one of the most haunted rooms in the Russell Hotel. Back when the building was a sailor hostel, it was in room 8 where a sailor was reportedly murdered by a sex worker. His spirit reportedly continues to haunt the property, and more specifically, room 8 to this day. The sailor is said to manifest specifically to women who are sleeping, appearing at the foot of the bed. He's also been seen standing in the doorway of the room, as well as walking down the hallway before vanishing into thin air. Many believe the sailor is responsible for the footsteps that are heard by employees in the middle of the night. Each time that the footsteps are investigated, nothing and no one is found. Room 20 is another notoriously active spot, with guests often feeling as though they're being held down when they're sleeping in the bed. Other active locations throughout the hotel include the sitting room, where guests and employees have described an unexplained energy and feeling as though they're being watched. The basement, where a photograph captured the apparition of a man dressed in colonial work attire, peeking out from behind a pillar near the bar, and the attic, where employees have reported unexplained footsteps. And a lamp apparently broke on one occasion without being touched, and the voice of a young boy was heard saying, "Do it again." If you've ever visited the Russell Hotel, I'd love to hear about any experiences you've had or stories you've heard. And maybe I'll book some time in room 8 when the hotel is back open. Up next, we're heading to Canada, to the Fairmount Banff Springs Hotel, located in Banff, Alberta, Canada. This historic hotel has been the source of paranormal lore for many decades, and it is absolutely stunning. I will have some pictures on the blog for you to check out, but wow, it's gorgeous. The hotel overlooks a valley and is situated within Banff National Park. One of Canada's earliest Grand Railway hotels, the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel, was opened in 1888 and was able to accommodate 280 railway employees at the time. The property eventually transitioned into a hotel and expanded over time. The initial hotel structure became the North Wing until it burned down in 1926, and Canadian Pacific Railway assigned their chief engineer, John Orrock, the task of building its replacement. In 1988, the hotel was designated as a National Historic Site of Canada and remains a picturesque landmark of Alberta. The hotel today includes 757 guest rooms, event spaces such as ballrooms and dining rooms, as well as restaurants, tennis courts, a bowling alley, a pool, a spa, and a golf course. But as with any historic hotel, the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel has its fair share of spooky stories associated with it. One of the most popular tales involves the tragic demise of a bride, and it dates back to 1920, when a woman reportedly lost her life on the staircase. She was said to be wearing a wedding dress, walking up the stairs when her dress caught fire from one of the candles lining the staircase. The woman panicked and tripped and fell down the stairs to her death. Many people have reported sightings of the bride throughout the hotel. She's been seen wearing her wedding dress, dancing throughout the ballroom, often seen with flames flowing from her dress as she dances. She's also been seen walking up the same staircase where her life tragically ended. Another well-known haunt is that of a bellman, a man named Sam McCauley. He's pretty prominent in the hotel's haunted history, and it's easy to see why. Sam worked at the hotel in the 60s and 70s, and he reportedly still takes his bellman duties very seriously, continuing to help guests from the afterlife. According to one story I read, 2 elderly women checked into the hotel and called the bell desk for assistance after their keys wouldn't work in their door. The bellman on duty was a little busy at the time, and he wasn't able to assist them for a few more minutes. But another bellman came along in a plaid jacket and helped the 2 ladies into their room. And when the bellman on duty finally managed to get to the 2 ladies, they were good to go. They already unlocked the door, and he asked them how they managed to get into the door. And the lady said that an old Scotsman in plaid had helped them. And the bellman on duty reportedly turned white because that description fit perfectly with that of Sam McCauley, but he had been dead since 1975. One of the most haunted rooms in the hotel is room 873. The unconfirmed story says that a family was murdered in the room, and following the murder, the door to the room was bricked up, so today it just looks like the rest of the hallway. But many people believe that the spirits of the family still linger on the property. Guests have reported seeing apparitions nearby the room. Other reports indicate that guests have felt sudden temperature drops in that area, as well as hearing strange voices in the hall and feeling as though they've been touched by someone who isn't there. Now, whether you're looking for a serene and beautiful landscape to enjoy your vacation or a spooky interaction with a friendly bellman, you're sure to find what you're looking for at the Fairmont Banff Springs Hotel. Let me know if you've had any experiences at the hotel, or if you know anybody who has. I would love to hear about it. And finally, we're coming back to the United States and discussing the infamous Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel in Los Angeles, California. Sitting just off of the famed Hollywood Boulevard, the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel has quite the history. Many famous guests spent time at the hotel during their pursuit of fame, and many people believe that the spirits of some guests, including some of Hollywood's biggest stars, still linger around the property. Hollywood was booming in the early 1920s, and there was a need for somewhere for all of the rising stars to stay while they pursued their careers on screen. The Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel was built to fill that need, and it opened on May 15th, 1927. The hotel features 300 guest rooms, 63 suites, and a few ghosts that you may recognize. Some of the most famous guests of the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel include Shirley Temple, who learned how to tap dance in the 25,000 square foot hotel, as well as Marilyn Monroe, Errol Flynn, Ernest Hemingway, Charlie Chaplin, Matthew McConaughey, Brad Pitt, and Angelina Jolie. Some of the rooms have been dedicated in honor of their former guests, including a penthouse on the 12th floor named after Clark Gable and Carole Lombard, and a suite that pays tribute to the one and only Marilyn Monroe. In addition to the beautiful suites and guest rooms, the hotel is home to exquisite ballrooms and event space, including rooms called the Academy Room and the Oscar Room. In fact, the first Academy Awards ceremony was hosted at the Hollywood Roosevelt on May 16th of 1929. The hotel has undergone several renovations throughout its time, with the most recent being in 2015, but you can still stay there today. So whether you're coming to explore the famous haunts or relax in a cabana by the 60s-style Tropicana pool, you're sure to find something to make you feel alive. And speaking of famous haunts, in addition to the more mundane paranormal reports that are found in historic buildings, guests of the Hollywood Roosevelt have faced more recognizable apparitions of some of Hollywood's greatest who have never checked out of the hotel. Marilyn Monroe was a notable guest at the hotel in the 1940s during her rise to fame. Hollywood executives rented out Suite 1200 for the starlet, who stayed at the hotel for a few years while working on various acting jobs. And following her death in 1962, guests began to report strange things occurring in Suite 1200. Some guests, including Matthew McConaughey and even Prince himself, who have stayed in Suite 1200, reported hearing unexplained noises in the room at night, while other guests have claimed to see Marilyn Monroe herself dancing in the ballroom and appearing in the full-length mirror located inside the room. It became such a common report that they moved the mirror out into the hallway to avoid scaring the guests. And Marilyn isn't the only familiar face still lingering around the hotel. The spirit of musician and actor Cliff Montgomery has also reportedly been seen around the property, and specifically in room 928. Cliff stayed at the hotel for a few months while filming From Here to Eternity, and he has been seen on several occasions, once by renowned psychic Peter James. Peter was staying in room 928 one evening, and he claims that the spirit of Cliff appeared to him, sitting in a chair in the room for several minutes before disappearing. Other guests have reported similar sightings of Cliff walking through the room and adjacent hallway, brushing up against guests and employees, even tucking one guest into bed in room 928 when she stayed there. Cliff has also been heard practicing his trumpet throughout the hallways, seemingly enjoying his favorite hobbies even in the afterlife. Other reported hauntings of the hotel include that of a little girl. The girl, whose name is apparently Caroline, was reportedly a resident of the hotel. She appeared to Peter James in 1992 and expressed concerns for her mother's safety before disappearing. She's often seen around the pool area wearing a pink jacket and jeans, and she's been mistaken several times for a living child by guests and employees alike. The ballrooms are home to two tuxedo-clad entities, one of which enjoys dazzling guests and employees with his piano skills, while the other has been seen walking through the rooms as if attending an award show of days past. This hotel is absolutely one that I will be visiting. I am so intrigued, and I can't wait to check it out. If you've ever stayed there at the Hollywood Roosevelt Hotel, or you know of someone who has, send me the story. If you know anyone who stayed in any of the hotels that we've talked about today, you can submit your story or theirs via the website or by emailing it to me at thehauntedcorner@gmail.com. And that's going to do it for this episode of The Haunted Corner. If you'd like part 2 of haunted hotels, let me know. I had a lot of fun with my research for this one, and I'd love to check out a few more spooky hotels. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I really hope you enjoyed the episode.
The sources that I used for my research today will be listed on the blog post for the episode at www.thehauntedcorner.com. I will link to that in the show notes so you can check it out. My blog post will also have pictures of all the hotels that we featured on the episode today. You can check out those pictures in the link below. Check out the other episodes of The Haunted Corner available now, wherever you listen to your favorite podcasts, with new episodes dropping every week. If you're enjoying the podcast and would like to share your support, you can head over to Patreon. You'll also have access to early and ad-free episodes and exclusive Patreon content, 2 bonus episodes per month, plus a lot more. Follow us on social media at The Haunted Corner on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. And if you're enjoying the podcast, be sure to tell a friend, share it with your friends. And if you have a case suggestion or a correction to share, please send it to thehauntedcorner@gmail.com or submit it through the website. Don't forget to check out my new recipe blog at thehauntedfoodie.com. And until next time, be kind and take care of yourselves and each other, and we'll see you soon. Bye.